What's up everyone, it's Tim from Everyday Tactical Vids again, and today we're going to be taking a look at some EDC knives. And I've chosen these particular knives because I've used these knives as EDC knives for on and off, for a handful of years now, and so I can actually speak to these ones. Obviously, there's tons and tons of knives out there that people use for EDC knives, but these are some that I have actually used. I've found out some of the pluses and the minuses of the different knives. So I just wanted to give you a sense of these knives and, maybe give you some food for thought when it comes to your EDC knife, what you're using, why you're using it, and maybe even you may get interested in some of these as a possible option for you. So just running from end to end, we have the Smith Wesson Extreme Ops here. We've got the Gerber Propel. We've got the Benchmade Reptilian, the Kershaw Tension, Kershaw Needs Work, and then down here at the end is the Cold Steel Tough Light. So let me get these out of the way real quick, and we'll just go through one by one and talk about each blade individually and some of the pluses and the minuses of each one. First up here is the Smith & Wesson Extreme Ops. This is going to run you, probably around $12 to $15. And let me just say, at a baseline here, a lot of these EDC knives, you can get them at different sites, and there can be a $20, $30, sometimes $40 difference. I'll give you an example, not of these knives, but my BK2 from K-Bar, I've seen it really range up to a $40 difference at different places. So, I'm going to give you a general sense of what I've seen them out there for, but you're going to have to shop around a little bit. I did a review on this knife not too long ago. Very simple, obviously, Tonto blade, partial serration. It's actually got an aluminum handle. Does have your belt clip on this side over here. It is not removable to be put in different locations. I would not recommend this knife as an EDC knife. Having used it a bit, and if you have seen the review, I've contacted Smith & Wesson about the issue, which is the liner lock. And you can see here, let me just bring it up there a little bit. You can see it does have a liner lock inside, and what happens is I've been using it to shave wood and to cut wood, and basically the liner lock clicks all the way over, so it's not even lined up under the center of the pivot point for your blade. So that just makes me nervous. At the end of the day, I want to make sure that, if I've got a liner lock or a frame lock, whatever it is, I got to make sure that it lines up properly and it's not getting locked into the wrong position. So until I have information from Smith & Wesson on this and what the response is, this knife is out for me as an EDC knife, and I would recommend that for you as well. It was a cool little knife, not super expensive, but that's definitely a significant issue for me. So let's see, moving on, we'll go on to the Gerber Propel. Now this one is let me get it in the center of the camera here. This is the Gerber Propel Ao. This is the automatic, which you cannot get in the average store unless you have credentials, meaning law enforcement, military, retired law enforcement, something like that. They do have pretty much this exact same knife in an assisted opening, so it's not automatic, it's assisted. Basically, as you get the blade started, it'll open up the rest of the way for you. So looks very similar to this, the build overall very similar. Having used this knife a little bit as an EDC knife, one of the things I'll say, again, as I mentioned in the review, the texture on this G10 handle it's pretty abrasive, so this will scratch up and kind of tear up at some points your pants. If say you're just wearing khakis, this will beat it up after a while, so you need to be careful of that. If you're wearing jeans, it'll probably work fine, but just something to keep in mind that this may beat up your clothing a little bit. Other than that, I've actually liked the serrations on this. I usually don't like serrations on my EDC knife, but this has been useful as far as cutting through things that I've come across or situations I've come across. It's comfortable to wear. It's not huge. It is the biggest of all these different blades that I showed you, but I have liked it. I do like the aggressive tip that it has there, so you can actually punch into something and then do some cutting. I'd say overall, if they made this knife or they asked me, for some improvements, I would say you can do one with serrations, and I would recommend they do one without serrations. I think that would probably step it up a little bit for me as far as if I would use this one over some other knives out there. So that's your Gerber Propel Ao. Next up is the Benchmade Reptilian, and this has been kind of my standard EDC for the past probably year and a half or so. The Smith & Wesson, like I said, is going to run you, say, 15 bucks. The Gerber Propel is going to run you above $100 probably, or in that price range. The Reptilian here is going to run you also around $100. I think that this one ran me 89 bucks. Couple great things about this. Very comfortable handle. It's very lightweight. The pocket clip can get moved to this side or this side as well, so that's nice. The locking system is it's very secure. It's a special system. Let me just look at it. I have the specs written down here. Their axis locking system. So you open it, you know, with the hole here, and then this kind of locks into place, and it's very, very secure. So I like that. This is, you can see, let's see on the top here. See if you can see that. Yeah, you can see there's jimping on the blade and then down to the handle. That's nice. It just adds a nice texture to it when you're using it. And let's see, a couple other things I would mention about it. Again, lightweight handle, that's nice. The shape of the blade is a sheep's foot. Some people call it a modified sheep's foot, but it's sheep's foot. And it does have a nice tip there, so you can pierce into things and still do cutting. The blade is also very easy to sharpen, which is a nice advantage. So a buddy of mine, Andy, who helps out with Everyday Tactical Vids, was sharpening this and just said how it was easy. You don't have to worry about all kinds of different angles and stuff. You just bring it across your sharpening stone very simply. I do like the length of this blade too, and I'll talk about the cold steel and the Kershaws as well. The major advantage of this is just the length of the blade. You know, one straight edge. You don't have to worry about serrations or working around serrations. So far, this has been a fantastic purchase for me. When I first started looking into getting a higher end EDC knife, I talked to the guys at the local sporting goods store, and I said, all right, if you're gonna go, if you're gonna go in for an EDC, what would you recommend? And pretty much they said everybody who gets a Benchmade is happy with it. They don't hear bad things. All they hear is that some people get frustrated with the cost. But as the guy I talked to, I think yesterday, even said, the old adage sticks that you pay for what you get, or you get what you pay for. So Benchmade Reptilian, very happy with that blade. Next up, we'll do a couple from Kershaw. This is the Kershaw Needs Work. I really like this blade a lot. I would use this as an EDC all the time. The major issue, and this may seem silly to you because it did to me, is the belt clip. It's just so snug that when you try to put it on your pocket or take it off your pocket, or I'm sorry, not your belt clip, but your pocket clip, put it on, take it off, it's just a major hassle. It's very hard to do. So even though the handle is a little bit small for me, I actually like the way this thing fits. I like the shape of the blade. I like that aggressive tip so I can cut, so I can pierce in before I cut something. Also, this blade is nice and easy to sharpen as well. These little holes here that you can see, let me get a good angle here in the light. You can see some of these little holes here, little kind of cutouts. Very comfortable to kind of place your hand in and get a good solid grip on it. That simple feature, that pocket clip though, does make it frustrating when you're trying to actually use this or to take it off or to put it back on your pocket. It does take quite a bit of work just to get on your pocket. So at some point I'll contact Kershaw and see if they have a replacement for that. But overall, this is a great knife. This also comes in kind of a black, I think in tan, or a brown and tan with a tan colored blade. Very cool. This is going to run you probably in the $35 price range. Does have a liner lock, and one of the cool things about this is that you got this little, the Columbia River knives call it the flipper, but you can see basically just push down on that and it comes opening very, very easily. Very nice blade. If you're going to be just throwing this in your pocket as opposed to putting it on your pocket, using the pocket clip, I really, really like this. I think this cost, when I first bought it, $40 actually, as I'm thinking of it. But great, great blade. Very useful. It's got this kind of a little bit of a utilitarian feel to the blade, but this one was, that's the only main problem, I would say, the pocket clip. Nice EDC blade. Alright, two more here. This is the Kershaw Tension, and I was actually looking at this knife originally because I started getting interested in the zero tolerance knives with those big wide blades, and I want to spend the amount of money those knives cost, so I thought, what else is out there that I could try out. The Kershaw Tension. I actually got this knife for free. I went to Cabela's, and if you filled out some paperwork, they were giving away some free items, and you could get this one. So this one also, I like the shape of the blade. It's the tip is a little bit, feels a little bit less aggressive to me, but still works quite well. Easy to sharpen. Nice, light overall. You can see it does have the pocket clip. Let me get it in the center here. Pocket clip here. You can also adjust it to basically three different options. 1, 2, and 3 for where it's going to rest. The wide blade is good if you have to kind of get in and do some prying or twisting with things. You don't want to really crank down on this thing terribly hard, because it is, I think it's going to run you between $15 and $30, so it's not going to be a super strong knife. But I like this one a lot actually too. If you look at the needs work here and the tension, you can see they're kind of similar in their form and as far as, you know, overall size and stuff. So similar types, and a little bit different obviously in the blade style, but the tension has been nice to use, fun to use, cuts well, easy to sharpen. And I'll put all the specs down below. You can just check down below as far as all the details on type of metal and those types of things. Obviously thumb stud to open it up, and it's got a liner lock. And yeah, it's just, I've liked this blade a lot too. It's not as nice as the Reptilian, which is currently, I would say, my favorite EDC, but still quite a nice knife. Last one we'll look at, I got quite a long time ago, but this is the Cold Steel Tough Light. They have the Tough Light with the straight edge, Tough Light with serrated edge, and then they have the Mini Tough Light, which is a little bit shorter. I think it's an inch overall shorter, and the blade I think is a ½ inch shorter, and also that's serrated and non-serrated. If you do get it serrated, the entire thing is serrated. It's not partially serrated, and the other one is also the Mini Tough Light is also, the serrated version is completely serrated as well. So this one, advantages, very comfortable to use. It just fits nicely into my hand. Again, I'm 6'2", so probably have a little bit bigger hands than a lot of people, or some people at least. But this still is very comfortable. Very light handle. You've got a hole here if you want to, you know, put some sort of paracord or something, you know, to make a lanyard. Pocket clip is adjustable to either side, but it's not adjustable to this other end of the handle. The blade I have found is very useful. Again, you can see that I tend toward a kind of utilitarian style blade for my EDC stuff, even though the Reptilian's a little bit different. I like the utilitarian function. And then you can see, if you look here, the cutouts for these two fingers in particular, just really nice. You can cut with it. I needed something that had a slightly longer blade, so that's why I went with the Reptilian, which, as you can see here, comparing those two blades, the Reptilian's definitely, it's probably almost twice as long. But the nice thing about this Cold Steel is it is super lightweight. You know, I would stick it, very comfortable, stick it in my pocket, and good to go. So let me line all these knives up one more time so you can see what they look like, and then we'll wrap up this little discussion on EDC blades. One last time here to go through the blades. We have the Cold Steel Tough Light, Kershaw Tension, Kershaw Needs Work, Benchmade Reptilian, the Gerber Propel Ao, and the Smith Wesson Black Ops. And I'm just going to take that one right out because I would not recommend that one due to that liner lock issue. We'll do another video to talk about choosing an EDC outside of, you know, the different types of blade lengths and style and size, but also just general use. What are you using your EDC knife for? And that'll also inform the decision-making process as you go through that. So just want to give you a quick rundown. All these knives I would recommend. I have had no problems with them. At this point, if I were to kind of give you my favorites in order, it would probably go like this. The Reptilian would be number 1. I would say the Needs Work is number 2. The Cold Steel, and then the Gerber, and then the Tension at the end. So from number 1 down to number 5, but again, all 5, very happy with them as I have used them. Alright, thanks for checking out the review or the commentary here. Please like this video and subscribe to Everyday Tactical Vids, and we'll check back with you and be putting out more videos soon. Take care.